So, welcome back. Let us continue with our discussion. And we already have discussed syllabus of research and publication ethics, and we have discussed that there are 6 units, and these 6 units we will discuss. So, let us start with first lecture today. And here you can see research and publication. So this is the main title of the topic, which this syllabus we have already discussed. And now here you can see, now today unit 1 we're gonna discuss about philosophy and ethics. So this is lecture 1, and what we will discuss here, you can see what is research. You may have thousand of questions in your mind, that is it research, or this is research, or that is research. What is research for those who are doing PhD, right? We will talk about that. Then in this session we will talk about why research ethics. Earlier, when I did my PhD from Delhi University in 2011, we were not aware of these ethics, that there should be some ethics also in research. Nobody told us. We were not aware of that. So at that time we were having excuse, but Vijender ji, Arun ji, Dinesh ji, you were not having an excuse, because now you have this course, that you have been studying this course on research and publication, and now you know why we need ethics in research. The third very important thing we're going to discuss, what is a research process. Because when you think of qualitative research, when you talk about quantitative research, steps are different. We will have a different steps. So here we will discuss, listen carefully. If you are in quantitative research, what kind of step must be there? If you are in qualitative research, what kind of process, what steps you need to define in your PhD work. Now, next, very important thing. What is research ethics? Beside why research ethics, what is research ethics, that we will discuss. And finally, we will discuss what are the different guidelines, what are the different principles of ethics. So this is our lecture 1 on philosophy and ethics. So here you can see, first very important thing, as I mentioned earlier, that we may have weird kind of perception toward research, especially when we conduct PhD or whenever we write research article. We are not sure what is research. We are not sure what is scientific way of conducting a research. So here you can see the University of Waikato, they have mentioned, because we all are in social science, here you can see social science research is the activity of gathering, analyzing, and interpreting information for a variety of social, economic, educational, and political purposes. So here you can see, when we think of our PhD, whenever we think of our research, what comes on in our mind? First things, information, or we can call it data also, right? So gathering data, gathering information, whatever data information you have gathered, you need to analyze it. And then after analyzing with some tools, now you all aware of SPSS, a lot of people they learn SPSS, use different tools for analyzing information or data. And recently you might have noticed that people are talking about R programming. So do we really need to learn SPSS and R programming? We will talk about that. Please note down this question. We'll discuss about it after this discussion. So here you can see, in research what we need to do, we need to gather data, analyze data, interpret information. For what? For giving something to the society, or let's have some kind of value addition to our existing education, or whatever learning we have, whatever information we have, we are going to give some kind of value addition to the existing education or economics or social activity or for the political purpose. So you may be in social science, so social. You may be in commerce, management, economics. You may be in other field, it may be educational, or if you are in political, you may be in political purpose. So we collect data, we gather information, we analyze information, and we interpret the information. So this is our research. This is a research in social science, whether you are in commerce, management, or other field. This is a responsibility of PhD scholar that they need to collect information. And here you can see why research ethics. We know that we are conducting a research. Now we have read that, okay, this is the research. Now why research ethics? Is there any problem with the research? So here you can see a competent social researcher has a critical apprehension of contemporary society and social issue based on a sound foundation of social theory and research methodology. What happens whenever we think of a research? Research we do on society. We collect data from society, and research always is there to find out a solution to a problem. And where would be that problem? In the society. So we raise social issues. For example, because of COVID-19, what is the buying behavior of consumers? How do people react? What is the motivation among people? Right? So there are a lot of social issues in our society, right? And these societal issues we need to understand. So are we competent? Are we having such kind of competency to understand all these issues? Right? So if we have that competency will come when we become a part of the society. It may be that you are a part of society, but you don't understand the dynamics of that issues, or dynamics of that problem. Right? So here what we need to do, we need to understand society, we need to understand social issues, social problem, and we need to find out some kind of solution to the social problem. And what we need to do, whenever we find out any solution to the existing social problem, we need to show some kind of logic. Now what is this logic? Now listen carefully. If you are able to understand what I am going to say next 2 to 5 minutes, then your 50% work is done. Right? Listen carefully everybody, then I will ask a question. Have you seen children playing cricket on a street? Have you noticed, because when you go on a nearby park or nearby area or on the road or in your on your street, you might have noticed one thing, that lot of children they are playing, and they by chance they are playing a cricket. Right? If you haven't seen, if you haven't observed, please next time watch this carefully, see, observe this carefully. If children are playing cricket on a street, what will happen? Assume they have 30 minutes, half an hour to play cricket match, right? And they are 4 or 5 children. Now my question to all of you, out of 30 minutes, how much time actually they invest in playing cricket only? Let me see your reflection everybody. Yes, tell me everybody. Let me see you all. You can give remarks in your chat box everybody.
So for few moments, they are distracted with the vehicles passing by on the street,
Okay,
and
okay.
then they are also distracted with sometimes like fighting with each other that who has
Okay,
scored
very good,
the
very good.
goal or not. So it
Okay,
is not the 30 minutes totally they have invested into playing.
okay, great, great, great. Okay, fine. Anyone else?
15 to 20 minutes they invested to play.
Could you please speak
Actually,
loudly, sir?
sir, 15 to 20 minutes. I think they
Okay.
invested to
So
play
you
actual
said
cricket.
approximately 15 minutes they play and remaining 15 minutes what they do?
They do other activities. They solve out
Okay.
problems between
Okay,
them and
okay. So actually, uh, out of 30 minutes, they play 10 to 15 minutes. Actually, they play cricket. Remaining 15 to 20 minutes, they try to solve problems of what? Problems that they start fighting with each other. Why do they fight?
That the ball is not on the
You
pace
are
or
not playing properly. You are out. Have you
someone may
seen
have
yeah,
cheated or
who is
yeah.
batting?
some.
Whosoever is
They
batting, everybody is after him that you are out. They all want to prove him that you are out by hook and crook, right? So this
they
kind of
fight due
behavior you
to
might have
undecided.
noticed when children are playing cricket on a street. Now, is this a same behavior you will see around the world, or it happens in India only?
This same behavior around the world.
Like
I
same behavior everywhere, I think.
Yes. So here you can see the research ethics are very very important, because now here we want to understand the social norms, society, social issues, and logic behind all these social activities, and want to find out solution to all social issues. And for that we need logic, and logic is called theory, and beside theory we need research methodology. So it is a responsibility of a researcher that we need to find out right kind of logic, which is theory, and the research methodology. So this is the reason why we should talk about research ethics. Next, we'll see researchers need a critical understanding of a range of social research methods and style. And here in India, conducting a research is not an easy job. Why? Because in India we have different culture, different people, different language, different style, different behavior, right? So when you try to understand them, generalizing them, it would be a very difficult task. So as a researcher we need to do very important thing, that we need to understand each and every culture, code of conduct in each and every culture, ethical value in each and every culture, what is right, what is wrong in each and every culture, because we will be doing a research, because we are collecting data from society, and we are finding out solution to the problems which are existing in a society. Now here you see why research ethics. Social research design encompasses not only theoretical and methodological but also ethical consideration relating to respect for right and welfare of all parties. So whatever you are conducting, whatever research you are conducting, it is your responsibility. What is your responsibility? You need to take care of welfare of all the parties and right of these parties. Otherwise you would be in problem. So as a researcher, what you need to do, you need to understand social code of conduct, ethical code of conduct of all the parties from whom you are collecting information, or maybe any part of the society who would be part of your research. And what you need to do, you need to think of welfare of all the parties, those who involve in the research. I give you a simple example. Whenever you collect data from individuals, suppose you are conducting research on people, those who have bank account in a banks. So you come to a person who has a bank account and you call him and you say that I am doing this research and I would like to collect data from you, right? And you need to mention that why you are collecting this data. So you need to tell him that I am conducting this research for my PhD, and the purpose of collecting this data is not commercial. I'm not selling this data. Just for academic purpose, just for research, I am conducting this research, and when I will send my paper for publication, or when I will complete my work, the impact of my research would be that lot of people would be benefited out of this, right? I'm not going to harm anyone, I'm not going to put anyone in problem. Okay, so here what you need to do, that's why these research ethics play a very important role. Whatever research you conducting, you must know who may be the party to that research: respondent, or your institution, your supervisor, your friends, your colleague. You are responsible to all, because it's your responsibility to conduct such kind of research where you will be able to give some kind of good things to the society, and that would be within the brackets of ethical consideration. Now, very important thing here, everybody, you can see what is a research process. What is research process? First, very important thing, you should have some issue, you should have some questions in your mind, and besides some questions, you must have some objectives. Second, to find out solution to a particular question or to achieve the objectives, what we need to do, we need to collect data. And data, now what we do, you be all aware of, we design or develop a questionnaire, and we go to our respondent that this is my questionnaire, please fill it out, I am collecting a data on this particular issue. So second point of a research process. And then what we do, whatever data we have collected, we organize all the data. We organize in a systematic way whatever data we have collected, so that we can analyze the data. Here you can see the analysis of data. Suppose I collect information from all of you that how many cup of coffee or tea you drink every day, right? Let me see all of you your response. So this is a research process where we talk about questions, we define different questions, beside that we define objectives, and then we collect data. Whatever data we have collected, we organize that data, and then finally we analyze, like we have given example of tea, that how many students in your university they take cup of coffee. So suppose 1000 out of 5000 they take cup of coffee, 2000 they take 2 cup of coffee, and another 2000 they take 3 cup of coffee. So now you have clear cut idea that we have organized data, and we can now analyze that how many girls and how many boys, how many teachers every day on an average they take cup of coffee, right? And here, how would you like to interpret that data? Would you like to interpret it in the sense that boys take more cup of coffee in comparison to girls, or girls take less cup of coffee in comparison to boys? So this is what interpretation of data, same data, but we are interpreting in a different way. I hope this is clear to all. And then finally we gonna utilize these data, maybe as a researcher we can say that we have conducted this data, and this is on an average in our university we have this kind of children, we have this kind of student, they like tea or coffee, or they may not like tea or coffee. These many girls like tea or coffee, these many boys they don't like cup of coffee. So this is what, this is a utilization of data, and we can give to the organization who is planning to sell coffee or who is planning to sell tea to your university. So this is a very simple example, and I have given of your university. This is called research process. Now very important thing, we already have discussed what is research ethics. Now we are talking about what is research. Why research ethics we already have discussed. Now this is what is research ethics. So here you can see on the right side what is right, what is wrong. It is very difficult what is right, what is wrong. I hope you understand what I am saying. So here you can see it's not necessary always that two people will have similar kind of opinion, especially in research. When you think of a logic, when you find out a solution, some people may say that we agree to this, some people say we don't agree to this. As a researcher, what we need to do, we need to find out all possible guidelines which can help us to justify that why right is right and why wrong is wrong. Ethically, why these things are right and ethically these things are wrong. Right? Why these are unethical and why these are ethical. So we need to understand it because we are doing research and we have been doing very important thing that we have been doing PhD. And when you do your PhD, it is after master, you have become a master. Now you are digging more and more and more and finding out something which others have not. So now here what we need to do, whatever information we collect, whatever information we give, we need to understand that if this is right, then why this is right. If this is wrong, then why this is wrong. To say this is right, we need to have guidelines, and these guidelines are called research ethical guidelines. So research ethics provides guidelines for responsible conduct of research. So here your research should be a responsible conduct of research. And in addition, it educate and monitor scientific conducting research to ensure a high ethical standard. So when your research is scientific way of conducting a research, you have adopted all possible scientific way of conducting a research, definitely it will follow all ethical issues, because here you will be responsible for conducting a research. And what you need to do, it's your duty as a research scholar that you follow all possible ethical rules and regulations, right? So that's why ethically research ethics are important. So here you can see the summary of some principle given by City University of Hong Kong. So first you can see honesty. So these are few principles of ethics. You can see everybody. Honesty, honestly report data, result, methods and procedure, and publication status. Do not fabricate, falsify or misrepresent data. Objectivity. Strive to avoid bias in experimental design. Suppose I know something, then what I will do? I will say that I know this, and you will become biased to that. What we need to do in research, you need to say, for example, when you write your null hypothesis, what you say? You say that there is no relationship, right? You are not sure what is this. So you need to be objective when you conduct a research. You should not be a bias in data interpretation, in data analysis. You should not be biased. And what you need to do, integrity, keep yourself promise and agreement, act with sincerity. So whatever you say, you perform that. It is not like that data says something, you say something, and result is something else. So whatever data you have collected, whether that data represent the different picture, believe me, a lot of people, they say that our null hypothesis should be rejected. No, it should not be rejected. It should be based on data. Whatever data say, let it be according to that. So your integrity play a very important role here. And then carefulness. You need to be not lazy, you need to be very careful, because there may be a chances of negligence, there may be a chances of mistake, there may be chances of carelessness. So you need to talk, you need to be very punctual, you need to be very careful about that. And openness, what you need to do, whatever data you have collected, like Google role is what? Give information as much as possible. So as a researcher, whatever data you have collected, whatever idea you have collected, whatever tool you have used, whatever outcome or result you have, you should open it for criticism. When criticism is there, you will be learning and you will have fruitful result. And then very important thing, honor patent, copyright, and whenever you collect data from or information from others, other write-ups, what you need to do, you need to cite them, you need to acknowledge them. Without their permission, you cannot use this information. Few more principles here. You can see confidentiality. There may be some issue where there may be some paper, there may be some kind of research where you need to keep information protected. So that is also very important. For example, military secret, patent, etc. And then responsible publication. As I mentioned, that publication should be at right place, otherwise you would be in problem. I mean, you cannot buy journals and then send it for publication. It should not be like that, right? It could be a wastage. And then responsible monitoring. It is like help to educate, mentor, and advise students, promote their welfare, and allow them to make their own decision. So here, whatever research you have conducted, it should be for the promotion of welfare. It should be for the help of student. It educate student. It educate others. So it would be a kind of value addition. Just 2 or 3 more principles. Respect for colleagues. So whosoever is your classmate, whosoever is your friend, whosoever is your supervisor, who is your board of study member, you need to respect them. And most important, whosoever is a respondent who is going to give you information, who is giving you the data. And here social responsibility, what you need to do as a scholar, you need to promote social good, right? That means you need to educate public. You need to tell people that this is harmful, this is horrible, this is good, this is not good. And finally, non-discrimination. You cannot discriminate that it's a male or female, or they belong to a, the what you call urban or rural or village. You can't do like that. You are open. Researchers are open. You are for all. You are for all, everybody. So whosoever comes to you, you need to conduct a research for them. And here I believe 1 or 2 more. Competence. You should develop that competence. You should have that competency, professional competency, expertise. You should learn those techniques. You should learn those tools so that you can actually do a good, good work. And legality. You should all follow all local rules and regulation. Not only local, international also, because whosoever will be reading your article, it's not necessary they would be from India, they may be from other country also. And very important thing, treat human being as a human, right? So here you should not minimize, you should not harm anyone, you should not put other life in risk for your own benefit. And especially this happens when you talk about science. We use animals for our research, so that is not in our social science, I believe, right? So here this is what, so we'll talk about the second lecture, right? So let me come back, just give me 1 minute.